stuff.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the September 3rd, 2025 Planning Board session at Town of Hyde Park. If you could please stand with me to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is a continued public hearing for Belfield PUD Phase 2B subdivision. Come on down. Can I get a motion to reopen the public hearing?
So moved. Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Welcome back, gentlemen.
Thank you very much for having us. Larry Boudreau with Belfield. To my left is Jared O'Connor. We're in the trailer every day. Anytime you want to come up, as I have said in the past, you're welcome. Just give us a heads up. We have been talking about reconfiguring the lot on this Phase 2B, specifically Lot 8. Lot 8 is the lot for the apartments. And to show you what we were thinking of, we had a site walk on August 13th, and we'd love to hear the comments on that walk. So in that walk, we had both the previous lot staked at 7.5 acres, and then we moved it. Mainly, we moved it west 20 feet, restaked that west side, so you can see what was done. And the configuration that we submitted yesterday in hard copies today is up at 8.5 acres. So we gave a little more room to tie all the grading out for the future lot. The purpose for the move was just simply to get it off of the east slope, which we know is rock. So we shifted that. We are working with a slightly different configuration. The unit count, instead of 344, it's going to be around 341, but it may be 342 when the final drawings get done. The parking, we were able to get more garage parking, so with more garage parking, that reduces surface parking. And the surface parking looks like it's going to be around 143. We show that on the plan, and so that's a ratio of 1.52 per unit. So it's all configured on the lot. The lot's not going to look much different to you, maybe a little bigger, but again, it's at 8.55. I do need to, because you requested it, formally write the waiver requests down, so I'll do that end of this week, early next week, and we'll address the matter at the next meeting on September 17th.
Excellent. Thank you.
We can show you what we submitted if you like. Why don't you pull up this second?
Are these the materials that came in
yesterday?
Today?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. If you remember, the fourth page is a kind of a concept civil plan, grading, drainage, so that is separate from these maps. We'll have that and present that on 9/17. But this is the lot, the new lot with the new building configured in there. One thing you will see is we added the drop-off parking off of Main Street. We added that back in. So again, this was submitted hard copies today. Well, there you go. You got it. Is that what we have?
No, that's
that's
condos.
That's the other one. That's the
That's the
condos.
They have them both.
okay. Gotcha. Gotcha.
So this is with the lot line shifted 20
Yes,
feet,
yep.
and now we have our loop drop-off
Yep,
area back?
Yep.
Great,
We have the
thank you.
drop-off area back. There's 3 distinct courtyards. You know, it's similar previously where we had all 3 courtyards, you know, on the west side. This is a little different. We still have 3 courtyards, but we have 2 in the front, 1 in the back. So you can see how we configured the building. The building was configured that way to get it off of the slope. So instead of going straight across the back, we pulled it forward, and that way it's off that slope. So a creative way to handle the site conditions.
Interesting.
The garage entries are the same as previous, one in the south, one on the north. You show it, yep, that's the south, and that's the north. The main center of the building lines up with the center line of the Village Green area. So you can see that, and again, by doing the shift, that 20 feet, City Winery stays at its location. What gets shorter, buildings 1100 and 1200 get 20 feet shorter in length.
As does the Village Green.
Yes, as
Okay.
does the Village Green, yep. The corridor, Main Street corridor of 72 feet, that stays the same. And the sidewalks on both the west and the east side of the drive are at 15 feet. They stay the same. The roundabout shifted slightly, but essentially it's in the same spot. But moving it 20 feet aligns the center lines a little bit better with the roundabout.
So now we have 2 roundabouts, right? Is
Yeah,
this the
we have
second
one on the north, yeah. But we'll get into that when we develop that.
Right.
Right now, this is specifically.
I mean, no, there's one to the south also, or is this the same one?
Yes, no, that's true.
Right,
As
so
you
we have the
go,
2.
There's one by the townhouses.
Yes, okay.
Yes, yep.
Even though I've been on the site now, I still need to just continue.
Yeah. Thank you very much for all those who attended the site walk. It was very helpful to us to have you out there. And Jared.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Jared running the drone was helpful.
It was all very,
helpful, too.
very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I know that the board is happy to share with you their comments and impressions from that visit.
Okay.
Okay. It seems to sum up everything, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm interested in hearing the comments.
Okay, good. I'm going to go to Tad first. No comments. Ms. Franson, and again, we just received these, so, thank you for walking us through the highlights. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to really tell much of a change, other than the footprint of the building is going to look different, right?
Okay.
So no comments at
Right.
this time?
So
No comment, John.
just to anticipate, there will be comments coming from you between this meeting.
Yeah, it's just not now.
It's just not now.
And, it's sometimes hard for us to comment when we've just received the materials. We don't tend to, but this is one of those applications where we're kind of living it and we're seeing it regularly. And so when we see something new, it's not necessarily brand new.
Right.
And we have no idea, like, what it is. So, I feel we can entertain if anybody
Yep.
does have comments.
Yep.
Victoria?
I need to look at the plans, but did you say the road width is now consistent with one
Yeah,
of the road profiles
it-
in the ODA?
Yes,
Okay.
72 feet,
Okay, so we don't need to go back and amend
Right.
that?
correct.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so Tad picked it up first time around, and we widened it at that time.
So does that allow for on-street parking?
Yes, we have parallel parking.
Parallel parking? Okay.
Good, okay.
Is that, that's different.
It's an extra 22 feet.
What's that?
Oh, no, we were just saying it was previously the angle.
Yeah, angled. Well, in this section, it was parallel parking. As you move north, it turned to angled, so.
This piece here, right?
Yeah, that's all parallel.
And then, I haven't seen what you submitted yet, but it would be helpful to see where the and some kind of overlay of where all your easements are now and what needs to be changed based on you moving the roundabout and those sorts
So,
of things?
yeah, that's on the plat.
It's on there? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There's 3 pages to the plat. So any questions, please call.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Excellent. Thank you. Mr. Tuttle?
Thanks very much for the site visit, guys. That was really great. I'm intrigued by this new building design. I think this looks really interesting.
Yeah.
I appreciate the way, I'm looking forward to seeing
Yeah,
more
yeah.
and more about the building as it comes
Yep.
out.
Yep.
As far as the boundaries here, just a couple questions on that. The north side lot, is there space in there for the commercial building between that north side lot and the roadway? And whatever landscaping and everything else is supposed to see.
It's 60 feet right now. We'll probably go parallel parking there instead of angle, so we'll pick up another 10, so we get 70.
Great.
So we're close. I mean,
Okay.
all these buildings here, we want the maximum depth of retail. We went to 70 feet, so,
Yeah.
20 by 70. This will be probably a little less than that, but
Yep.
yes, there is. And that's the desire of all of us internally, that there is retail there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you're not going to get any argument from me on the parallel parking. Obviously, I already
Right.
was
Yes, you have,
advocating for that. I think particularly this gets at sort of my second comment, which is about I continue to wonder about the difference in heights we're going to get between the north end of this building and the height of the commercial structure next to it, and how incongruent that might be. If that building is a little bit closer towards the sidewalk with the parallel parking, and it's a little, there's a little bit of a setback difference, that could help with
Okay,
that, with
okay.
that height difference a little bit.
Okay.
Let's see, I lost my screen here. The only other question was about adequate setback from the roadway to the apartment building. So 15-foot sidewalk, is that 15-foot sidewalk all within the right-of-way?
Yeah, the 15-foot
For the-
goes to the right-of-way, to the line.
To the lot line there?
Right.
And then we've got how much space for,
You can see how it varies.
certainly, yeah.
But we've already, I have concept sketches of what that would look like. And I think you'll be pleased when we get into it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Great, okay, that's all I've.
Okay, thank you.
Any sidewalk comments on this?
Well, we've got 15-foot sidewalks on both sides through here, so I think I'm good.
Okay, good,
Yeah,
all right.
appreciate that.
Okay. No, I meant the sidewalk that we made, not the
Oh,
sidewalk.
sidewalk, I think you said sidewalk
Yeah.
comments.
Oh.
Like, I know I'm the sidewalk guy, but no, I don't think so. I think it is, I don't know, you get there and you look at the staking and you see how long this thing
Yeah.
is going to be, and it is striking. It is striking how long this building is going to be. I think that that is part of why I am intrigued by the new design.
Right,
I think
right.
it does a little bit of it's more, at least just on the sketch here, it's more interesting for a building that long. It seems to have a
Yep.
little more variety.
It
to
does, right.
Um,
One thing to note, when you do review the plans, we've updated the topo. So the topo we walked on the 13th is what's on the plan.
Oh, okay, great, thank you.
So that topo even picked up the mulch piles.
Yeah.
So you'll see all the, I'm like, why are the mulch piles there? But they're there.
Well, they're big,
They're there.
they're big.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Waters?
Yeah, my first comment was whether that Main Street feel was going to go away, and you answered that with the retail being in the front now.
Yeah.
The other thing was the parking in the back. Is that approximately the same size that it always was?
When you say the back.
In the back,
On the
on
north?
northeast side, yeah. There, yep.
It's a little bigger.
It's a little bigger.
Yeah. The lot size goes from 7.5 to 8.5. One of the reasons is we stretched that out.
Okay.
The reason why is we couldn't get as much parking on the south side,
South
so we
side.
had to
Yep.
pick it up.
Okay.
And the other thing that we're conscious of is the 15% landscaped area, so we added more islands back in to, you can see, and I just got the calcs and it looks like we're there, but I gotta double check them. But, so we're right at the required of 1.52 per unit. This plan, we're at 520, 1.52 per unit, 143 on the outside.
Okay. The sidewalks I like because then it makes it a walking,
Yep.
place. So that was a very good pickup. Dylan had fought for on that. The retail there that would be in the front, I don't even know what number that is now. That we're talking about. Yes, in that area. Yep. Is that about the same length that it used to be? Or
It's going to be a little shorter.
a little shorter?
And the building configurations were very uniform previously. Yeah, they're going to be offset. 1,900 are in the same spot as previously in the Phase 2 FDP approval. But you can see the building stretched. We pulled it west and stretched it a little bit. But nobody wants to lose that Main Street feel, so.
Okay, and then one of the pet peeves of mine was the height, the overall height of the structure itself. Is there going to be any change in,
So as we got it
going from 5 to
approved.
4 or whatever, floors?
Wait, on the apartments?
On the apartments,
So it's still podium plus 4,
all the way through?
yeah.
No,
No, it steps down.
You can see the spots where there's the courtyards.
Well, yeah,
Well,
it
yeah,
steps
yeah,
down
the
there,
court-
but where there's apartments, right, it's all.
Right, I'm talking the structure, not
Yeah.
the structure that's on top,
Yeah.
the greens. Okay. So,
Here, let me grab this. This is a courtyard here. Now, this is the amenity, this is where the pool will be. The amenity shown here is around 20,000 square feet. Previously, we were at 14,
right,
6,000
Wow,
square feet
yeah, it
more.
looked bigger.
So courtyard here, here,
And there,
and here. And previously, we had like 1, 2, 3.
yeah,
So this is really a creative way to pull this off, and then we pulled it off, everything, center hall that works around the courtyard. But
Well, I
what's
think
nice
that-
about this is they open it up, put another drop-off here.
right.
So there's actually 2 drop-offs, one here and one here.
Ground floors going across the whole.
Yeah, these are ground floor apartments that come across here and here.
Yeah.
So you're not looking at the garage.
Okay, and they're going to be apartments, or are they going to be their retail? Because at one time, it
Well,
was
we
like their
were-
internal retail space.
Yeah, well, like
the
most of these
program,
guys, they they're into the apartment.
Yeah.
That's what they do. But, this is, you remember the whole leasing area and how we would display that, so we're looking forward to getting into the details of it. But this footprint fits.
Okay.
341 with required parking fits with the setbacks and managing the dirt work.
Okay.
Okay.
And let me see, did I have anything else? Not on this one, on the other one
Okay.
I did. Yep,
Okay, good.
thank you.
Mr. Oliver?
Thank you guys very much for the site visit. Jared, great work with the drone, showing us the heights and where the buildings would be in relation to the trees that are existing on the site. That was very helpful. Just one question regarding the parking on the north side of the building, Larry. Is there any reason you didn't push it back to the east a little more? Was it to get the slope down to it?
It's a rock.
Yeah, It could be pushed further east. That's rock right there.
Okay.
So we're committing to putting a wall there, so how high do you want the wall to be?
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
further,
That's what I was
Okay.
wondering.
yeah, the
If
further you
should-
move it back, the higher
higher the
it
wall.
goes.
Yep. So you're gonna need a wall there no matter what?
Yeah, no matter what, although I did tour a site, Toll Brothers site, and they had like a 20-foot wall. And
Where was this?
It's in Carmel, they had a 20-foot wall there, and I'm like, whoa,
Oh.
people actually
Yeah.
do 20-foot walls.
Yeah.
So, to me, you go over 8 feet, it's a no-go, right? You try to manage it at that height. But it could go back. Wall gets higher.
I was just thinking for the retail along Main Street, if you need to, once you start figuring everything out, is there room to go back if needed or not?
There is room.
Okay. That's my only comment. I do
Okay.
like the new layout of the building. I think it definitely breaks up the long lines better. And once we get into architecture and stuff, I think it'll be, more visible there as well.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. Miss Lee?
Hi, guys. Good evening. Thank you for this drop-off in the front.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
that just changes
Yep.
the massing of this whole
Yeah,
thing. So thank you for that.
Okay.
And thank you for the site visit.
yeah, okay.
There's a couple of things that I remember from the site visit that I wanted to talk to you about, and they sort of are in tandem with what I'm looking at here. So I really love, like I just said, that entry and drop-off. I think that's going to make a big difference for people who live there. Even if it's just Ubers from the train station, ride
yep.
share, all that kind of stuff, we have to consider that, I think. Losing a little bit of the village green, though, is sad, because that's sort of the original concept of this project, and that's what I was thinking and what I wanted to discuss with you in public from the site visit. We talked about dog parks, we talked about food trucks, we talked about these things that are maybe a little bit more of a pain in the interim, but I do believe that they foster community, not only with the people that are living there, but also people who will come and visit, use the retail, and, go to the restaurants. So, even though it might be a little bit more of a stretch in the beginning, the fountain, these kind of things really do bring a project together.
Okay.
And I just wanted to make sure that I said
Okay.
that on the record.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Excellent questions, everybody. I also thank you very much for the site visit. Again, it's always good to revisit it, and again, you're always doing work on it, so it's always different.
Yeah,
It's always
yeah.
different.
The tower,
Excellent,
right, the
excellent
tower.
comments. Huh?
The tower,
The tower.
stone tower, yeah.
Yes, that's
Came out.
beautiful work that's done on that to preserve something that perhaps some other company might have just
Right.
bulldozed and it would have been gone. So thank you for that. It's a little piece of old Hyde Park, even if nobody really knew about
Yep.
it. Now everybody's going to know about it. It's interesting, Ms. Lee was talking about the Village Green area. And I was just wondering if you lost 20 feet, can you make it up on the sides?
Well,
Do you have any room to do that?
The scale of that, so East Lake, I say East Lake, the project in, what's that called?
Easton?
Oh,
Eastdale,
Eastdale,
yeah,
uh-huh.
East Lake. I got a lake on my mind. Eastdale.
Oh, Eastdale, yeah.
Have you been to the green space there? What did you think of that?
It's amazing how many people cram onto that postage size.
I was going to say it's a
Great.
postage stamp, yeah.
Right.
I've seen people like egg hunt on Easter with their children, and there's so many of them. It's tiny. It's smaller than this room.
Okay, because we were at a quarter acre, which is much larger than what's there, so we're losing 20 feet by the width. So how much are we losing here?
10 parking spaces wide roughly.
Yeah, well, 10 by 120, okay. 1,000 square feet off of, so instead of being 22, it's 21,000 square feet. still pretty big.
True,
Right.
true.
Right.
I
'Cause
just-
Without
first thing
seeing
when
it
I-
on paper, you wouldn't notice it in person.
I don't think so. It's still, when I went to Eastdale, I loved the space. It just, when I compared the two, then it looked small to me.
Yes, I did the same thing and could definitely then appreciate looking at
But
what we're proposing here.
It does work over there. They did a great job introducing it, and I see kids there all the time, using it, so.
Yes, go ahead.
But when we were talking about the green original, the last time, I think, we were going to have some kind of a divider to separate it off the actual roadway. I believe there was
An
talk
arbor
about
thing.
possibly an arbor of some kind or separation. So just in thinking about that, what you want to do is think about how much space that's going to take up too. Because that's going to eat into the green space technically.
Right, well, one thought we had is, one of the ways to manage the dirt here and the rock is to raise, Main Street up a bit. So we set a grade 3 feet higher than what was originally proposed. So what we're likely going to do is on the east side of the Village Green is create like a little amphitheater feel where you're stepping down into the...
Oh, interesting, yeah.
Yeah, and so
Okay.
as the sun is setting, you can be sitting on steps looking
Oh,
west.
yeah.
Right.
And then if you put a fountain in.
We'll make it nice. We'll make it very nice.
Of course. But again, great comments.
Yep.
And again, we'll more fully review the materials that you sent in.
Yep.
What's your confidence level that this looks pretty much,
Pretty confident.
pretty confident? All right, well, that's great.
Fine.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
Just quick question.
Can you use the microphone, please?
Yes, sorry. Larry, on the can you do the calculations again? Because I thought you said, and I probably just heard it wrong, I thought you said you're losing 1,000 square feet?
So...
On the Village Green?
Yeah, I think it's 100 feet, 120, let me see, 120 times.
20 by 50.
Okay, 2,000.
So it's 21,000?
Yeah, so the original, I don't have it in front of me here, but
Okay.
it's about a quarter acre.
Okay,
Excuse me, half acre.
Half acre,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
half acre.
Thank you. I was going to say.
So it's a
yeah.
half acre, around 20+ thousand square feet.
okay,
And so we're taking 20 feet off of it.
okay,
And so, and I believe the width is 120, 130 feet times 20 is 2,400 square feet.
okay.
So 10%.
We'll take a look.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought you said 2,100 square feet, 2,200 square feet, and that didn't make sense, taking
Right.
1,000 off.
So
Okay.
about
Okay, thank you.
10%, that's probably
Yep, no, understood.
a good place.
So we are looking to adjourn the public hearing. Do you want
Yeah.
to adjourn to the 17th?
Yes.
Okay. There's no more comments on this?
I mean, we should see if anyone.
Oh,
is
I'm
here.
sorry. Would anybody from the public care to speak on this application? That's a no. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Victoria. May I get a motion to adjourn the public hearing to September 17th, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. All right, there are no more public hearings tonight. We are now going to enter into workshop. We're going to discuss the Belfield PUD Phase 4 development plan for condos, villas. And again, we went on a site walk on August 13th. We got to see where this is going to be situated on the site. We got to see with the use of a drone, we got to see how tall they're proposing them, which is great because the trees were up and we could actually see how the height of the proposed buildings related to the height of the trees. It did not exceed the height of the trees. In some cases, it was like right at the trees, but most of the time it was about 5-10 feet below where the tree canopy was. Right?
Yep.
Okay. So please go ahead.
Yep, thank you very much. So a couple things here. We did submit the full civil set, and I'll go over some key things there, but the main focus is the site plan, because you'll see the lake in there now. We designed the lake, it's in there. We designed the walks around the lake so you could see it. Wetland number 8, which was a holdover, is taken off the plan. The Corps did not accept that as a jurisdictional wetland. So that's off. You'll see where the proposed lake is and how it ties in with all the walks, so you'll see that. We did update the building elevations, and let me see. Tom, come on, Tom. Tom with LMV is here, and he can speak to that in a little bit. But just by way of update, we did submit to the town board. I let you know, Ann, about that submittal to the town.
Yes, I
town
saw
board.
that.
Right.
Did they
So-
accept it for the 8th?
Yeah, they
Okay.
accepted it, and I need confirmation that we're on the agenda, but I did speak to Al.
Okay.
And then that's for specifically the height variation that we're requesting. We, in this package, in this slide here, or presentation, we do have the same elevations through the project to the adjacent roads with the updated building elevation in it. The dam
I'm
is...
sorry to interrupt. Would you mind just pulling it up so people can follow along?
Okay.
Which one do I start with?
Site plan. So again, just, the big picture here, the lake that's being shown on your plan now, that's 1.7 acres. It, and of course, your engineers will have to verify it, but it doesn't meet the thresholds for a dam safety permit. It's below 15 feet in height, and it's also below 3 million gallons. We still have to register the dam and the lake, which we will, and of course we'll work with Pete and...
Is that a DEC activity?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it is, yep. But once you get over 15 feet and you get over 3 million gallons, then you need a dam safety permit. It adds
okay.
another regulation onto it. So the dam is in there. Can you go to the grading plan? So you can see it's graded in. You can see how the walkway works around it. And we've been talking about this, but now we actually figured out how it's going to work, how it's going to tie in with all the adjacencies. So that's something that you'll be able to review. The town board submittal on the height, just to review, that is, we're requesting 65 feet for 4 inches. It's the same as the apartment. We don't get that high. We're going to be in the 62 range when we're finished, but it could be 63. It might bump up to 64. So we're going with what we know is safe, 65 feet 4 inches. We did do an initial average grade around all the buildings, so we're confident that we're going to meet that. And one of the reasons why we're there is we're going 12 feet floor to floor. So the inside units will have a 10 feet floor to ceiling height, and then the top floor could be as high as 12 feet. So very special units that we're doing there. With that, this plan set shows, go back to the massing. Right there is good. So you'll see 2 massing drawings. We did an overall. Go back one. We did an overall here, so you can kind of see this is being overlaid, the approved concept plan. So when you review that, you'll see it. What this shows here, these 4 buildings to the left, those are all the condo buildings, and no parking is shown. I'm not quite sure how they would do that. Fire truck turnaround, all that kind of stuff. But underneath that is our layout.
Okay.
Now, those, of course, are four stories. You know, as you go up, you reduce your impervious and disturbance footprint. So that's why our footprint is smaller. Over to the right, those are patio homes, originally planned. Those we moved further into the site. And again, you can see how our layout is configured on an approved plan. So it's information for you. Okay. And then we talked about the layout. The layout hasn't changed any. We did play around with some of the widths a little bit. We did review pretty closely how the fire truck turnaround would work, so we had to make some adjustments to that. We did add the sidewalk in front of the hotel villas.
Thank you.
Right, so that's in there, and it's all looped. Everything is all tied in together, so you could see that as well. The grading, we went ahead and did the bio areas, so they're all in there. They'll be designed, next time around, but they go in very natural areas. They fit in there beautifully. They're sized. We can get plenty of volume to make this thing work. And yeah, utilities worked out fine. And that's just the detail we can get in as you guys get into it. But I wanted to go to the architecture elevations and let Tom introduce himself to the board and go through it. Yeah.
So I'm Tom McCormick with LMB Architects. I know we had an initial submission. We kind of took your commentary and we looked at the design guidelines from the original submission. So we, as Larry said, these are 12-foot, 4-4 buildings. They're substantial, but also, I think, looking through a nice high-end or like quality product. So we're kind of tying into the more natural side, I think, of the design guidelines, pulling in some of these reclaimed timbers, kind of the stonework that's seen at the base of the hotel now. So kind of using some of the elements that are, there we go. Zoom in at the base, you start to see some of the textures actually come through. Unfortunately, at these large-scale prints, they don't always show up. But also kind of bringing in some contemporary design to that, and I think the design guidelines allow for some of these moves. So the larger swath of glass, the glass railings, the more delicate metal detailing, but using kind of the form, kind of think harkens back to a nice transitional style, I would say, like the taller gable roofs, and the treating the kind of the main the base, kind of that midpoint, and then having how the building meets the sky, kind of articulating that in a bit more of an interesting manner. I think changing the peaks of the roofs helps with that. Adding all these chimneys, starts to break down the mass. And even, kind of these carve outs in the roof itself is a bit more of a contemporary move, but I think will help these more substantial buildings feel appropriate for the place.
These are taken at different shots. So this would be, it has the garage facing the west and the grade transition going down from the south to north, and go to the go up one.
Yeah. So
this one here is a courtyard. That's what you'll see on the courtyard. So that's 30 and 31 facing the courtyard. And you go over, and you can kind of see that that's a north view of it. So the garage is on the west side or to the right. The courtyard is to the left, and that's how it's on the north side.
This would be facing the lake.
Yeah, facing the lake. So you can see on the top floor there, 12-foot, glass, the glass is from floor to ceiling on every unit.
Yeah, we started to try to extend that top level a little bit to, there's breaking up the rhythm of a facade across the horizontal plane, but, as you go up in a vertical sense, you want to start to articulate that differently, add some, even those middle elements, just articulating the windows a little differently kind of creates that cap moment. And, taking the glass up to the ridge, kind of in these corner masses, kind of helps, makes those are going to be some special apartments up there for sure.
Can I just make a note how much I appreciate this angle of looking instead of the flat angle? This is just so helpful for me to see all the different details and ins and outs of the building. Thank you so much, because I don't think anybody's shown us a view like this before, so I personally found it.
But, it helps put all the pieces together. And even seeing how some of the roof lines start to match up, I think is helpful. That sometimes you draw something, it's good to check it.
Thank you very much.
So I think that wraps up our presentation. Any questions? We're
gonna do the normal circle and let you know. Anything else though on the presentation?
No, we're all set.
Okay, great. Thank you for that, though. It's I'm excited about the lake. I think that's an unexpected bonus. And again, as we continue this journey, and there's trade-offs that are being made, sometimes some of them aren't making us very happy, but some of them make us very happy. So it's, there's, I'm seeing lots of trade-offs, which I think is how it has to work.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Tad, do you have any comments on this? No. Bonnie?
So actually, Tad and I are chit-chatting over here, but we're looking at that bioretention basin.
Yep.
It seems to be extending into the lots.
Yes. These lots aren't final yet, and we're likely to make some adjustments.
Okay, so you're going to design the basin, and then the lot sizes will follow?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There's no reason for that to be pushed out that far. It can come back.
So I unfortunately wasn't able to attend that site walk. I know there's been a lot of discussion about the elevation of the buildings relative to trees. And I'm trying to understand, is that just to get a sense of height? Because it's not, given all the grading that's going on, you're not going to have trees in and around the buildings. So when you talk about trees, it's just in terms of to get a sense of the height itself.
Yeah, but there's a couple things. Yes, when we were out there, the buildings were staked. I mean, we knew where the buildings were. So the question is, how tall are these buildings? So Jared flew the drone up, and it was about just below the top of the tree.
Yeah, I think the trees just gave us a reference point, so we could see
So you get a
something.
sense.
Yeah,
the
as we're saying,
scale
I was like,
and the
well, how
mass.
tall is the building going to be?
Okay.
And he
Got
was
it.
able to go up to the 65 feet.
Okay.
And we could see.
That the trees were higher.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if the conversation was about the scale of the buildings or that there was going to be some amount of trees preserved. And it
But-
sounds like it's more about the scale of the
Correct,
building.
yes.
Correct, but to that point, what's unique about this site is these two buildings sit on knolls. So you put the building on the knoll, you're not fighting grade. We're burying the parking deck, so as you look, south and west, that part of the garage is in the ground. And then when you look at the grading, you can see how easily it ties. Whatever trees are here, barring utilities, we'll be able to save. Any significant trees, we'll be able to save. It's not like, the apartments where you're fighting a slope.
Right.
We're on top of a mound, we're sticking it there, it's very easy. let me see. Yeah, all this, you can see how quickly we're tying the grade. You don't see these long slopes anywhere.
So when you discuss existing trees, is that going to be sort of isolated trees? Do you think you'd be able to get stands in? I don't know that this is so graded out that you actually know what you can preserve. But I was curious if you have a sense of whether you'll get these pockets of stands.
Yeah, I mean, we can show a tree save area. I used to do this all the
Larry?
time.
Larry, you also said that a lot of that was overgrowth from not too long ago. I mean,
Yeah, there's not, yeah, there's not a lot of.
Correct.
before buying.
Yeah.
There's not that
Yeah.
many
Correct.
specimens.
So
Yeah,
the
yeah, there's
specimens
not-
we looked at, there's a
there-
few nice ones, but
If there's a nice one in a saved area, we're going to save it. So
Thank you.
that's the idea.
But otherwise, then, it's really going to rely on a landscaping plan that'll be
Yes.
put together.
There's one submitted in.
Yeah, we submitted one. We'll get your comments on it, so.
So with this slightly revised layout, how does this mesh with now the other building that we were just, the large Main Street building? How is grade working, especially with 3,000, 3,100? Is there distance between them, or how are they interacting together?
The parking lot for,
Yeah, go to the massing drawing. But that's something we can show, the other one, the next one. Let's see, yeah, so zoom in there. That's a good question, and I'll show a plan that shows that.
Yeah, I think,
Because you can't really see
no,
here.
yeah.
And
I think that's-
this is not quite current.
Yeah.
We've changed the parking a little bit, so we'll show that.
Yeah,
We'll
I'm
show it.
curious what the space is between, sort of how that's handled between the two, and is there sort of a transition area? And then, in terms of the architecture, that, I think the elevations on the presentation are for 3,000. Those are going to be for all four buildings? Or are you
Using 3,000 and 3,100 will be quite similar because on the courtyard entry points will be, they're basically mirrored. But for the height and the architectural kind of style, that'll be kind of carried throughout.
Throughout, okay. And then I think just in terms of the architecturals, and we'll get comments, at least in the rendering, and I know this is preliminary, the particular stone base looks very heavy to me.
We scaled it up, so
Okay.
it would print.
so you could see it.
This is
So
what Rob has been
Yeah,
asking
so-
for,
so you
because
can
it
see
blows up everybody's computers
Yeah.
when they
Right,
take the detail and,
Yeah, understood.
Yeah.
That's
So-
a scale issue. Right, no, it would be much.
It's just gonna, it's gonna be a
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, you can't see.
It looked
the-
like boulders.
You can't see the hatch. The hatch looks like a little.
Yeah, I was blowing
Yeah.
it up, so sometimes, so it's always useful, I know, when we get the architecturals, it always has the little squares of what you're actually gonna use.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
some
we can
sample
do that.
ideas, that's always useful, because, you know, obviously for this purpose, it's not translating. And then.
Yeah, they won't be quite,
And-
like boulder size. Yeah.
And then buildings, you know, I know the intent to do the variations is so that it doesn't look flat. And so I'm just curious, to what extent, how big are the balconies? How recessed are they? And then sort of the various elements, if we're looking at this facade, if you look at, for instance, the gable projection on the left-hand side, how far does that come out? Is that like 2 to 3 feet, or is that more like 5 feet?
Yeah, that's
With the, right.
this
which
right
one?
here, yeah,
That one?
right.
Yeah.
That's about 2 feet,
Mm-hmm.
and the balconies are,
Minimum 5 feet?
So those are projecting out.
Correct.
Okay.
but the
Yep.
minimum 5 feet would carry, some of them do kind of recess.
Into the building itself.
So then if we look to the right-hand side of the building with those balconies, those,
Right there,
if
Yeah,
those are
these-
5-foot
these are in it.
balconies, then that's a 5-foot
projection.
Yeah.
project, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to get a sense of, again, you know, sometimes we talk about creating these projections or changes in facade to provide that kind of interest, visual interest, but then if they're only a couple feet, then it doesn't meet the intent. But if we're talking about 5 feet, you know,
Yeah,
and,
that's why I think we tried to
put these views in, because
Yeah,
you can hide
it's
things on a
helpful.
flat elevation with shadow.
Yeah,
Um,
it is useful.
You know, this shows there is some true depth to the facade.
Those are my comments for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rennie?
No new comments on the submission because it's new. But what I would say is going forth is to try to see the consistency from all the plans because there's so many changes to the plans. And then.
Oh, right, the consistency chart.
Oh, yeah, that
Yes.
too. That could actually be talked about too, is what they're changing because they're 4A, they're kind of going into 4A a little bit. So them just explaining where they are consistent with the original approvals and seeker, we definitely want to see that. And even on the previous version, I think there was like 3 new versions of it in the last 2 months.
Yep.
So everybody's obviously going to keep up on it, which is, we'll do that. But on your presentation, I think the overlay with the different colors, the original, I think that's great for the board.
Okay.
But whatever set that actually gets approved, that would be, I would consider that's more of an exhibit and not actually part of the
Okay.
site plan.
Okay.
Or else that'll get really confusing for everybody.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Excellent comments.
Thank you.
Ms. Polidoro?
I don't have anything to add at this point.
Okay, that's fine. I'm going to start to my right. Ms. Lee,
Yes,
can
okay.
you please pull the microphone?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much for this next go.
Yeah.
I'd like to call it maybe contemporary alpine. Looks a little bit more modern. Especially the multi-level glazing, the pieces. So thanks for that. I don't really have that much to add. I did have a question about the chimneys. Are those chimneys for boilers and services for the building, or are you expecting that there'll be fireplaces in these units? Is that illustrative, or?
Well, no, we want fireplaces.
Yeah, okay.
Ah,
Okay, that's all right now. Thank you so much.
good question. Mr. Oliver?
Are you planning to stock fish in the pond?
No, I'm joking. How soon can you get started on this? I love it.
We want to get that, the pond's going to be like the first thing we do. We're going to do the pond, the dam, and what we'll also include on the engineering drawing is the outfall pipe that will pipe this to the wetland area. We want to do it next fall.
So this is a realistic
Yes.
going forward idea?
Yeah, this will be done by the end of next year. When I say done, the pond, the outfall,
The grading,
yeah.
Very good, thank you, that's all.
okay. Mr. Waters?
I need to digest it a little bit. because
Yeah, no,
I
it's,
just look at them,
it's,
yeah, and I guess.
we started with the massing thing.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Everybody was, looked like blocks.
Yeah.
But that's what it was.
I
And
guess
then we,
And then you
We're
put
here.
some grays and some whites on it, and
yeah.
Yeah, I guess one of my comments is towards Tom. What are the materials that you're planning? Are these like panels on this? Is it a stone? Is it a ephes? Is it a what? I mean, I know it's stone in certain areas, but what are we looking at?
As planned, a stone to match the hotel. I believe that is actually, we may have to do a different spec than that, but I think we have a good match to kind of carry that look throughout.
The stone they use on the hotel is no longer available, so we have a alternate that's very close that's going up on the entrance barn.
Yep.
Then,
so that stone for the entrance barn might be used for this?
Could be,
Okay.
yeah,
good small test.
yeah. And it's the east side of the entrance barn, not when you're driving on Route 9. You got to drive into the Belleville,
Okay.
just letting you know.
A lot of the metals would probably be aluminum. I would see.
The panel, like, is there
paneling,
aluminum
kinda like
panel?
that kind of gray, kind of the detailing around.
Yeah,
And then a lot of it's actually wood. There's a kind of a, maybe reclaimed, but maybe more in that thermally modified realm.
like the Japanese, like a burnt wood or
More
something?
like what they're doing a lot in Europe that's
Yeah.
coming over here. So
Yeah.
they they don't burn it. They essentially kiln dry to high temp. Cooks the sugars out, so you don't have this
yeah.
problems with cedar where you get the mold on it, things like that. It's stable, and especially along large
Okay.
swaths of wall. It's a good stable product.
Okay, I was just wondering, and then, you know, where we were with the Hart Howerton is, this is it's much more contemporary. I mean, we have the townhouses across the way, and it has more of a feeling like the townhouses. And that was a concern, because we were saying, why would people want the townhouses if they can get the condo that's a similar feel? There's not a lot of change in the styles. There's not.
Well, you're saying on elevation, okay.
Yeah.
That's a
I
fair.
mean, this is supposed to be historic Hyde Park.
It's a fair
Yeah,
question.
so that was a question.
okay.
Now, I understand with timbers, you can make things look more of an Adirondack or a timber
Yeah.
frame kind of a style and things like that. You could do things like that, and you could bring in some architectural elements that are used in historic Hyde Park.
Yeah.
You know,
This is what it could be,
Yeah,
we're thinking,
yeah,
so
yeah.
we're looking forward to, the detailed design part.
Under, you mean behind it?
yeah. So that was the thing. They're great. They very similar. They have a feel like almost like what happened down at Marist. In a way, those are stone, and they mirror what was there existing. These are just more of a contemporary feel to that same kind of a thing, so that they don't look to me as much condo as they do resort. And that's my
Okay.
that's my quick overview of it. Not that I'm saying that it's wrong. It's just that just need to know why we're going into more of this contemporary feeling. And I understand, because they're high end and people don't want an old looking building. I understand all of that. But there's ways to make things look like they've been around, even though they're using contemporary materials.
Yep,
So
okay.
that's all I have for now. Yeah.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Tuttle?
Hi, guys. Like night and day, man. I love this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. I'm impressed.
Okay.
You did say you wanted to see something entirely different.
I did. I sure did. So, the fenestration in particular, I think, is really well done. I also thought of Marist when I saw this, for that reason in particular.
Okay.
I know that's not Hyde Park, but it's close. And it is sort of in keeping with the campus and estate kind of vibe that this project has always been geared towards. Let's see. Did you use a different program for this, or a different setting in the program? Like, there is just a more naturalistic look to this than we've gotten from previous.
Dylan Tuller setting right here. Hit that button.
What's that?
So I took
It's the Dylan Hill.
Click the easy button.
pulled out some different styles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
More appropriate. I think.
Yeah. Just literally just the computer program, just the rendering, is what I'm saying. Is it? Yeah, it's a more naturalistic.
Well, no,
look
I
to
think
it.
this is Revit,
Right.
whereas
Yeah.
the other one was CAD.
Was in Kristen
Oh.
Cow. Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's what.
So he's working in 3D.
Yep.
Spinning the model,
Yep.
pulling, pushing,
Wow.
and real time. He can show me
Wow.
on Teams,
We'll bring the headsets next time.
pulling and pushing, and it just, there it is.
Yeah.
It comes together.
Yeah. So the building height and massing from our site visit, what I walked away from that feeling was that for 3,200 and 3,300, I feel totally fine about the massing.
Okay.
That the placement of those, where they are in relation to the rest of the site, it feels nice, it feels good. With 3,000 and 3,100, the potential height of these buildings felt a little more domineering to me in those locations, particularly the street-facing side. The ground, like, there is going to rise up pretty directly off of the road there, and then you'll have the building going up for 4 stories from there straight, right? Yep. In pretty close proximity to the road, I think, and that'll be, I think, even increased a little bit by the in the morning, the sun coming up behind it, you get the shadows coming towards the west. It'll fall on the road there. So I would be interested to look for ways to try to soften that, specifically on from mostly 3,000, but 3,100 too, and on that the road side, the west side of those. Ideally, like a stepped back top story on that could go a long ways. If you can't do that, then something to add some depth or some softness to those facades in particular, I think could be appropriate there. It could also, as you go about your landscaping plan, then some real focus on how to sort of soften that transition between the road and those buildings in that location could go a ways to that as well.
Okay.
There's a few of these pages that clearly need a little more work on them. The lighting plan, everything that's on there seems fine as far as levels and such go, but it seemed patchy on some, particularly on the...
Yeah, well, as we get back into the site, we are going to back down on the lighting.
Sure, okay, so
you're starting to see how we're backing down.
Totally. In that case, I would suggest what you've got back there my suggestion for backing down the lighting would be to go lower, not patchier, right? Like, you've got fewer fixtures and you've still got spots that are hitting 7-foot candles or whatever, and then you've got spots where you're at 0. So great, you want to like lower the lighting in those back areas. I love that. But for the sake of safety and visibility, the most important thing is for the lighting to be even. So yeah, like keep it under a foot candle, but keep it even throughout the parking area back there would be my suggestion.
Yep.
And also, I noticed there was no lighting provided for the courtyard and no building mounted fixtures. There was just parking light fixtures.
Right. We have to get into that.
Yep. Okay. Yep. I'm not really much of a landscaping guy. It seems like it needs to be fleshed out more.
That's fine.
But I'd be curious to react to Chris and Devani and to others on when they have comments about the landscaping. But I did see the sidewalk continuation. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
The dotted line that runs in front of 3,000 and 3,100, does that denote that would be a trail rather than a sidewalk for that?
Yeah.
So in theory, great. I just want to make sure that we're providing accessible routes. So depending on what the material is for that path in front of those buildings, if it's a crushed gravel for that section, great. But if it was just going to be a natural trail, then you're not providing, like, if someone getting from that building to the commercial area, we should just be trying to provide some kind of route for folks.
Okay.
Are you envisioning that the sidewalk is just sort of part of the trail system?
Yes.
And it would just be the transition from the trail to the actual sidewalk in front of the building that we would have to be concerned about?
So the sidewalks are in front of the building.
Yeah.
Concrete sidewalks. And then the trails we have a detail, and we have it currently built out on the hotel site.
Okay.
It's gravel.
Yep. Would it meet ADA? Is it like for at least?
Yes.
Obviously not
yes,
in the woods,
it would
it won't,
be.
but
yes,
like in
it
that
would
section.
Be. Yes,
right,
yes, it would be.
Okay.
5 feet wide, but varies. And the trails are carefully placed within the master HOA. We don't want to pull it off into the lot. I mean, obviously, some cases we have to, but you can see here that's in the master HOA. You can see the property line right there, and then, so it's all maintained by the master HOA. But I don't think we provided the detail for the gravel walk, so we'll need to do that.
Okay. But in general, I appreciate the work that has gone into this since the last time we met here to talk about it. I feel a lot better about this.
Great.
Excellent. There you go. I didn't hear any comments about the villas from anybody except for the sidewalks.
Do we have
When we come back, I will show you, we have a design for that.
You're going to have some renderings for us? Okay.
Yeah, we do, but again, the villas,
And also, I guess, the fact that they're going from a single to a two-story
Yeah.
and they're 16.
well, I checked in our code, they're up to 35 feet, so some might be one, some might be two.
Gotcha.
Be under the height.
All the square footage is tied to the Crescent Hotel area.
Right,
It's all
okay.
grouped in one big number. And so how we get there, some may be 1,200 square feet, some might be 1,000,
Right,
some may be
okay.
1,600, two-story, 16.
My personal comment is the 1,600 right there seems to work just fine
Right,
because
it's
of...
800 and 800.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
well, because of what's surrounding it.
Right.
Yeah, the scale of
The
Right.
single story might look not
Yeah,
well.
no, I agree. Well, again, we just got them today,
Oh, okay.
so I'll...
Right. I just, it doesn't seem like there's a concern to go 2 stories there and to go up to 1,600 feet.
Right.
Because I'm looking at your...
But we will get Victoria, the legal language on how those hotel villas tie to the hotel.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that.
I would just add that the southerly villa, the one that's closest to the building, if I measured that off, it's about 75 feet.
Here, this one.
No, the other one.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, that guy. And
Here to here.
so, again, with landscaping, I think with these villas, you're going to want to put in something that adds a screen or something to give them some privacy, right? So, just, again, because of the proximity.
It's a tough balancing because, you got those are your views from the condos coming out that side.
Yeah.
And we want trees and we want some
This-
landscaping
Yeah.
there. And I know it's a balancing act, but, yeah.
Well, I'm going to just zip down to the grading plan, all this is saved here. All of this whole swath. Now,
But you're not going to want to keep it forested.
no, I know, and it's all overgrown, that's what it is. You can get lost in there, it's so thick.
Yes.
But to find nice trees, not that many in there. But we'll make it nice.
Yes, understood. Excellent comments, everybody. Appreciate it. I don't have anything to add to what I've already heard. I am hearing big improvement on the architecture. And again, I know that this is not the final, but I do feel that you have been listening to us, and this is a huge improvement over what we were shown before. And again, I just can't get over just that by tilting the building just a little bit, I got such a great feeling about what it could actually look like. I am not good with flat.
Right.
So that was just so helpful for me personally.
Again, working in the Revit model, he can spin it.
Yeah, yeah. So thank you for that. So there's no more comments. We'll move on to the next item.
Yeah, our next step is, so we'll present to the board Monday night, town board,
Yep.
on the height variation, and then they, of course, will refer it to this
Yep.
board for a recommendation. And we're really going to, I think at this point, wait until we get that recommendation back. I mean, we need to know if we're a 4-story here, over a podium, to proceed,
Right,
to continue, right? Because if If it's not, it's a different ballgame.
It's a different ballgame, yes. And it will spread out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Correct. All right, then I plan on being there on
Okay,
Monday.
great.
I'll be sitting with you. In case you have any questions. So we did also wanted to talk a little bit about the West Dorsey access. Because
okay.
There had been some confusion, mostly mine, about construction access versus regular access. And as you know, we've had so many different resolutions, and we have, I believe, spelled it out. I don't know if I should just defer over to one of my consultants who could probably explain this better, but we want to clearly delineate the access, and if it is going to be continued for construction, we need to switch out bonds.
Yep.
And we need to be clear on who's requesting and paying for the bonds.
Right.
Okay, so, let's see, who would like to field this?
I can jump in on, at least on the engineering part.
Yeah.
Basically, the town highway superintendent would like to make sure that their road is covered. So if there's any issues with it, or if, just like what you've previously done before. So with phase one, that entity wants to get out, is our understanding.
Yes.
Of that bond. So
Yeah.
we're just looking for, when you move into the next phase, that you address that and then come up with a new entity, or, within maybe your master entity can take that over, because I think it's going to support more than one phase here. And then we don't know what your long-term is as well, too. Like, when do you think you're going to get out to St. Andrews?
Yeah, no, those are good questions. Our feeling is that what we know today is that the hotel's done. That bond should go away. It's being held by PC. I believe it's $50,000. That $50,000 was to cover the milling over West Dorsey. That milling's been done.
Right.
So that should be released. The road will be used for construction access for Argo, because it's right there. The other road's not built yet to get them there. In the future, like the condominiums will likely use both West Dorsey, and because all that road would be in by that time. But for the immediate need, because these guys, we're getting close to getting it financed and going, within the next month.
Right.
So,
Excellent.
The entity that owns those lots will post the bond, for this period, and then when we do the condos, then we'll post the
So
bond.
here's the issue, though. So when we approved the West Dorsey construction access, because that wasn't contemplated in any of the approvals originally, it was limited to just construction phase 2A. And for construction of any phases or sub-phases must be considered as part of site plan review. So if we didn't authorize that for Argo, then they need to come in, because they can't get a building permit unless there's a bond in place, if they're using that road for construction access. So I was suggesting that you replace the bond so we can let PC out, and then you can have some contract with Argo for them to replace the bond, but there's got to be a bond.
Yeah, no. And you don't want to release the bond until another one's in place?
Correct?
Okay, that's what I needed to know.
It's cleaner. It's basically closing it out and then opening all at once. It's more efficient.
But why wouldn't Argo? I mean, Argo could do it, right?
So if I go and look at Argo's approval, I don't see that we required Argo to post
You did not.
the construction bond.
Right.
So if I were Argo's attorney, I would say, there's no requirement for me to post
Right.
this bond. And then we're going to say, okay, you can't use this road for access.
Okay, so I'll talk to Tom. We'll get it worked out. How much is the bond?
So I think we should probably have an offline meeting, because I think
Okay.
we need another baseline report. What is the status of the road right now? Because you did the millings, you did a lot of work, and the road's in a particular shape.
Yep.
Yeah, and in my opinion, there wasn't much damage caused to West Dorsey as a result of the hotel.
Right, so we should do a baseline report.
Right.
So that the new person who's going to be on the hook has something to start with.
Right, right, but these are also 12 units, it's not 137 hotel rooms, so the bond amount's not going to be,
I hear you, but that's what we need to talk about. There's got to be, you can propose what you think is appropriate, the
Okay.
engineer can authorize it. We'll
Okay.
have to do some amending resolution
okay,
to,
all right, that
you know,
sounds
for
good.
the Argo project.
So
Yeah,
this-
and I also remember that when we started it originally, that intersection was already in need of some work on it, and then it needed more work once the construction was completed.
Yeah,
So we're at a completely different space, and so I
Yeah.
think doing the offline meeting and then,
Offline meeting is
Yes.
fine, the sooner the better, I know,
Yep.
so when
Yeah, we
when
can
Pete
do it over
gets
Zoom.
back.
I don't think it needs to be in person.
Huh?
I said, I don't think it needs to be in person. We could set it up on Zoom.
Okay,
For
okay.
convenience.
Okay, Rich, you want to set it up, or Pete, or,
Yeah, no, we can set up, I was just going to tell you, on cost is going to be based on the physical construction cost for that, to reconstruct that portion of the road that you'd be using.
yeah,
So it's
no,
not-
no, no,
Whether it's
no,
12
I
units or
wouldn't-
100
I
units,
wouldn't-
it'll be
I
the
wouldn't
same.
have a bond based on reconstructing the whole road. It would be the anticipated where, based on 12
Yeah,
town.
just like what the previous one was for that portion that you're using.
Yeah, no, well, again, we can do that
Did he-
offline.
yeah,
That's-
we'll
that's
work
fine.
through those details.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So,
It's going to be close.
Rich, you'll set it up?
Yeah, we can work with Victoria, we'll get something
Okay,
set up. But
okay.
just the bond cost is going to be about the same because that's the physical construction cost. But we'll look at whatever we think the
Okay,
current
okay,
physical construction
okay,
cost
okay.
is.
Yeah, I don't think it should be that much, that's, I think, but we'll talk
Well,
about it.
there's a lot of things that I wish were a lot less expensive as well, too.
Yeah.
Great,
Okay.
thank you
All right,
for your help
thank you
with
very
that,
much.
yes. So we'll set something up.
Okay, perfect.
And get that,
Thank you.
get the steps taken care of.
All right, sooner the better.
Yep,
Okay.
All right, that'd be great.
And then, in the meantime, think about your other entities that may be, because when you come in with, like, the phase that you're proposing now,
Yeah.
you know, who, are they going to want to use that as well, too? Because now
Yeah.
They could
you
share
could
it.
potentially have two different developers.
Yeah,
using it.
I think there would be, they'll use both ways in at that time, at that point. We'll have both ways in off of 9, but the signs are up, they continue to be up, that as you come out, there's no left turn. You know, so that was, Pete sent me a note, make sure you put those signs back up. I said, we never took them down, so they're still there.
okay. Right, we'll get it scheduled.
So, town board meeting, the 8th, they'll make the referral back. We'll come back here the 17th, and we'll do the Phase 2B again. We'll review that, and then this Phase 4, any new information on the bonding and...
Right, and the
any
team will have had a
additional-
chance to review it
Yep,
and
perfect.
give you any updated comments.
Great, thank you very much.
So, thank you.
Thank you guys so
Nice-
much.
nice to meet you,
Great
Tom.
work. Thank you.
Take care. So we have a,
Send these-
Say hello to
send
your
you
dad.
all the
Right.
information. This one has
we have just a few
whole thing about
waivers to get through, and then we have some more discussion to do. So the next item on the agenda is a site plan waiver for an oil tank
And then
on
one
16
person on
Harvey
the hook.
Street. Dylan, I think you have this one?
You have this one, second.
And then the town gets the runaround at the end. of the day.
Okay. All right, site plan waiver, September 3rd, 2025, resolution number 2025-442. Whereas a request for site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Ann Smith of Plenty Corporation to install an above-ground oil tank on the rear of the existing single-family home located at 16 Harvey Street. And whereas, therefore be it resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the building permit application and request for a waiver of site plan received on August 15th, 2025.
Second?
Is there any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is another site plan waiver for roof with trim and gutters at 16 Albertson Street. And Ms. Lee, I believe you have this one?
I sure do. This is a site plan waiver, September 3rd, 2025, resolution number 2025-43. Whereas a request for a site plan waiver has been made to the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board by Esquida Arula on behalf of the estate of Estrella Day to replace the roof shingles, trim, and gutters on a single-family home. And whereas, now therefore it be resolved that the Town of Hyde Park Planning Board hereby waives site plan requirements for the proposed changes as described in the request for a waiver of the site plan received by the Planning Department on August 25th, 2025, and the building permit application dated July 28th, 2025.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next item on the agenda is rent-a-space self-storage. At our last meeting, we scheduled a public hearing for September 17th, and I was contacted by the applicant, who unfortunately will not be able to be here that night, and really wanted to be here in order to hear any public comments, and so has requested that we reschedule it to October 15th, and they will pay for all of the renoticing fees that will need to happen for that. So they are very apologetic. Apparently, whatever was on their calendar that night didn't reflect their actual days that they were available. So I think we can do this by motion.
Yes.
Can I get a motion to cancel the public hearing for rent-a-space self-storage that was originally set for September 17th, 2025, and reschedule it for October 15th, 2025?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Excellent, thank you, guys. And thank you to Ms. Whitman, who has to do all that extra work, which is, we appreciate it, though. Next items on the agenda. Town Board, we have two Town Board referrals for local laws. One is amending Chapter 108 to add memory care use. The other is to amend zoning, the zoning map, to rezone a single parcel on Salt Point Turnpike. So they referred this to us. According to the local laws that we have in place, we have 45 days to comment on this and get our comments back to the town board. And this is the first time that we are looking at something like this with me as your chair, and my shoes don't come anywhere near the former chairs who could have written all this probably in about 15 minutes. But I think it's a great exercise for us because they're two very different types of amendments to the local law. And in reading through, I do think that there were some areas that could be tightened up when it comes to their proposed local laws. And I have asked for help from our consultants on this. We did receive some comments earlier this evening, but I don't know that everybody had a chance to read them. So I would just like to ask for some pointers here to help guide the board.
Sure. So when you're looking at a zoning amendment, generally, there's a few layers of review, right? First, you want to see, is it being proposed in an appropriate spot in the zoning code? Does it written in such a way that it makes sense with the other definitions in the code, with the other uses in the code? So that's like one layer, right? Was this drafted properly? Then the next layer is, okay, if that's the case, in one of them they're creating a new use that we don't have right now. So then you want to know, are all the places where they're proposing this new use appropriate? So there was a comment from from one of the alternates that memory care is probably not appropriate in the waterfront district because that's supposed to be big manorial lawns and historic houses, and maybe that doesn't make sense there at this level of intensity. So you look at the use, is it appropriate where they're proposing it? And so I did give you a few comments. One of my biggest comments is that if this is intended for the Belfield project, they didn't put it in the Belfield Planned Development District, so I don't think it helps them.
They proposed it for the Greenbelt area, correct?
They did,
and was the thinking that they could use the uses that are designated for Greenbelt? as part
Perhaps,
of this?
but Belfield has its own uses.
Right.
And the Greenbelt District is not, it's not a real overlay district. It only refers back to the Greenbelt District for determining density.
Right.
So, for me, that's one big thing. If they're going to put it into this project, it needs to be part of the comprehensive development plan, and it needs to be specifically called out in that section of the zoning law. The other thing is the calculation of residential to non-residential. They're proposing it right now to be fully commercial, but there is some room for you to say, well, let's prorate that. Maybe it should count a little bit towards residential because it, to us, it seems like a residential use, or maybe you believe that it is a fully commercial use because healthcare is for profit. So you guys can think through what you think is the appropriate classification. And we were saying, you could discount it at 0.25. It counts, each room counts as 0.25 residential use. There are ways to
Right.
to play
right.
with that.
To lessen the impact of a residential standard, correct? So, and if I heard you right, and if I read it correctly, is it possible that instead of going through by adding in this definition across zoning district, the Greenbelt District, which is
Very
the
big.
huge part of Hyde Park, is it, instead of doing that, could it just be added to this area in the Belfield PUD, since that's where it's being proposed right now?
So you could
Is that an
definitely,
instead of, or would you do both?
you could definitely do it that way, but what that does is when you have a zoning law and you're trying to interpret it, it's a whole art. If you
Yes.
have a use called memory care only allowed in Belfield, that implies that memory care would not be allowed anywhere else in the town. It would be prohibited. And maybe that's right, maybe that's wrong, I don't know. So doing it that way would mean it's not permitted elsewhere.
Okay, so it could be advantageous to have it as both, just to help the future of Hyde Park to figure out, oh, okay, it could go in these other areas because it is allowed in this district. So I guess the other part that I was struggling with is, we also have to kind of tie this in with our comprehensive plan.
Yes, that's the third level of review.
Okay.
How does this work with the comp plan that we thought we were going to have in 2005, how we thought we were going to build out, and then how does it actually relate to how we have built out in the past 20 years?
Okay,
So you can look at both.
okay. And I guess I know that there was another comment about the 40 units or the 40 beds, and how was that calculated? So if I go into any place in Hyde Park in the Greenbelt District and I find a spot that appears to be suitable for memory care, I can only do up to 40 beds. And so that's a question of how do we determine that? How is that determined? Is it?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't participate in the discussion surrounding the need for this amendment, so
Right, I
don't
don't
know
know, yeah.
what the thoughts were around it. So just thinking, is 40 the right number? Should it be higher in one district, lower in another district? I don't know how they arrived at that.
Right, okay. And I'm kind of flashing back to when the comprehensive plan was adopted in 2005, and how certain things like uses kind of rattled a bunch of people when they sat there and said, oh, you mean that lot that's right across the street from me, they could come in and somebody could say, I want to put a memory care in here. Why would you do that? I live out in the middle of nowhere, and why is this appropriate? Anyway, I'm just kind of flashing. And
Right, so you want to see what was intended for Greenbelt, but if you look at some of the uses there now, you can already have a residential care facility, which to me is a very similar type use.
Okay, right.
Is there a lot size minimum for that use?
I have to go look if there are, I don't know if we have special standards for them, Tad, do we?
Not that I'm aware of.
No, I don't think so. So you can
That
have,
is something you could think about if you wanted to recommend a minimum lot size, so it's not like somebody's trying to jam it in on a little lot.
Yeah.
It's very,
It's a
very
unique
helpful.
question here, because if this is, as we think, just intended for Belfield, it may well be that they're trying to partition a relatively small piece of Belfield off to do this. So you set a 10-acre minimum or something on it, and that could mess with that specific project.
Right.
It's a little-
Okay.
I don't know, it's a,
I mean,
Okay.
this is
Yes.
really being pursued for Bellafield.
right.
Right.
So in some
Understood.
ways, it, you know, it hasn't been really examined in terms of all the maybe requirements that you would apply to it. Extending it into the green belt, maybe it is better to limit it to Bellafield.
My-
And then if you want to allow it elsewhere, you know, let the planning board have some thought about maybe some appropriate regulations for it.
My inclination initially was it should either not be in the green belt, or there should be some kind of a lot size minimum to keep the green belt the green belt.
Okay.
So that you're not-
According to you guys, what do you think the big difference is between a memory care facility and a residential, what were the exact?
Residential care facility.
Care facility, assuming that memory is just more specialized, I understand that.
So
But beyond that, what is the
It
difference?
seems that perhaps
It
Yes.
does allow
They want
nursing
to
homes,
create
assisted living.
a use that's not called residential, in order to keep some non-commercial ratio of the overall project. That's a possibility. Otherwise, they're very similar, except that one is for patients with memory issues and one is for patients that can't function on their own.
So-
And I can read you the definitions.
So how is this like,
Quick-
like
quick-
the hospice?
Yeah, that came in as, hospice came in as residential care.
Residential care, it's
Yeah.
just
Is it
different.
possible to just reword our definition for residential care to include memory care, so that we're not isolating it so much?
But that's counted as residential, correct? And that's the problem.
Not-
Because
I mean,
residential care,
But we can still
So-
modify the
But when
ratio.
people are-
Residential care is currently defined as a residence for 3 or more infirm children, adolescents, or adults who require personal care, supervision, and services where compensation and/or reimbursement is paid to an operator, etc. It shall include a nursing home and assisted living. So it arguably already falls under that definition, so they're creating a new subcategory.
Is it, so I think you brought up this point that could you add to that definition that for areas that count number of residences, that
Put it in the
these,
Belfields.
that these be counted as, you know, a quarter?
for density issue.
For density,
For
yes.
PUDs.
For PUDs, that you can calculate this at a much lower rate, it's
That
not.
would be a much more surgical provision, just amending the Belfield district regs to say, you know, this kind of facility could be allowed no more than, you know, this size, because you really have to, it's supposed to be a whole integrated community,
Yes.
and it would be calculated this way.
Right. I was going to say the size thing, because, right, in theory, if you just said this doesn't count towards the residential or whatever, then they could do 300 units
Yes,
of it, you know,
yes.
300-bed facility or
So
something.
I'm not sure
But-
that it shouldn't count to the residential at all.
Right, but it-
You know, I think
Yeah.
you need to modify the ratio.
But like a quarter unit instead of
Yeah.
one full.
If you look at the residential care facility, they have other provisions. And so, for example, they're allowed rooms or units, and their total number can't exceed 200.
Right.
So if you add memory to that provision, those are going to apply.
Okay. Ugh.
This was the one, I don't know if you remember, so this had been revised because the facility that's on 9G, they wanted to expand. Do you remember what's the name of the facility?
9G or 9?
Assisted living facility, ALF.
Oh, ALF, right.
So because they were in a district, I think that's legislated by scale, this created some flexibility for the planning board, I believe, to allow a waiver from the scale requirements, but you had to make certain findings. So this was actually done in the last, or revised in the last 5 years, maybe.
What section is this?
This was in 2022, in fact. This is the residential care facility.
I know, but what's the section?
It is, I'm looking at waiver 108-23.6. And it's Article 23.
So there were a couple of things in the presentation that was done by Karis. One was that
Oh, microphone.
Who's Karis?
Karis was who presented to the town board for the memory care.
Okay.
And they say that they are not regulated under the section of code that is referenced in the article.
Oh,
There's a specific section of state law that's referenced, and he says he doesn't fall under that. I have no
oh,
idea.
so that does not apply to
Well,
him.
can't we just
So-
amend the code to be more general?
So,
about-
and the other thing was that this is a
Article 30.
lockdown facility. They don't allow people to come and go freely. So that was
Residents,
another
yeah.
distinction
Yeah, the memory
from the
issues.
other use. Those are
They're
just the two
under-
Okay.
major things.
I mean, I work in other communities, and we do have a lot of, there are facilities that have assisted living with a memory care component.
Yes.
I don't think that they're necessarily standalone
Right,
issues.
That's what my gut says as well, too.
yes, yeah.
But-
Again, I'm,
That's kind of where I was going with my comment.
okay, yeah, yeah. It sounds like there is a fairly cleaner, more surgical way that helps to just add the definition with whatever limitations for that you might want to put in.
So you might have to amend, whatever that reference is in the code to make it.
Yes, because if that makes it not apply, then,
So residential care facility, but they also wanted to address the non-resident, using it as non-residential.
Well, I think in the Belfield section, I think you have to add something.
That could be added in the Belfield part.
Specifically says, as part of the
that if you do,
Belfield
if you
district.
put up one of these residential care facilities, and the one you're proposing is a memory care, we would count the residential in using this formula.
So you're going to amend the residential care facility, but then provide some other conditions in the
Belfield.
So that's considered non-residential, if it's memory care only.
Daycare is still.
Because part of the thing about residential care facility, because it included assisted living, it talks about units, so it is residential. And I think in the agency regulations, it's kind of treated as residential.
Right,
But
right.
memory
Yeah, and to
care could be
Victoria's
treated
point, I mean,
differently.
a lot of times these guys are grouped together, right? It's like
Correct.
a couple of
Yeah.
different functions all under the same roof,
It's a
depending upon what people need at the
continuum of
moment.
care.
Correct, correct. There's
Continuum of care.
progressive areas.
Center.
And I do consider it a residential use, but if, for the ratio purposes of Belfield, we may be able to modify how we look at it and give them a percentage of commercial, because it is, a for-profit organization.
And no other area would be counting the units.
Correct. It'd be a standalone site.
Yes.
And it will be bringing people, arguably, to the site when they visit.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
there'll be
huge service,
Visitors
memory
coming.
care.
Yes.
No, it's locked down.
No, they
No,
can't.
there's visitors.
They can't leave, but they can still get visitors.
You can go visit, but you can't leave.
You can get in, but you can't get out.
Eagles.
Okay, okay. All right.
It sounds like what needs to happen is we need to attempt to sort of write this
Yes,
and see if it works.
yes, yes.
Which I'm happy to help with.
Thank you very much.
But
Thank
So
you.
Before the conversation's done, there was a lead agency request, so the board should
Yes.
vote on lead agency, authorize you to send the letter saying that you consent and that you need just a little more time to respond.
Yes, so I've written a letter that basically says that we've received the referral and we will be exercising the 45 days that the code allows, but with the hope that we would be able to consider something at our next planning board meeting on the 17th to approve, to send back over to the town board.
Did I hear Dylan volunteer to write something?
I will help.
I heard it.
Yep,
I'm
no,
doing
that's
so.
very helpful. So then my only other question, if everybody's comfortable with that, I just wanted to talk about the rezone on Salt
Oh,
Point.
so
And
I'm going to go just because,
yes,
yeah, we don't have
Yes,
escrow.
Yes.
that's right.
And I don't want
understood.
Yep.
anything
Understood.
up. Okay, thanks. Good night.
Bye.
Do we need to make a Motion on the consent?
So I think next week, or the next time we meet, we'll have a piece of paper that says, right, we can vote tonight. We can vote tonight.
For both.
Yes. Okay, then may I get a motion to consider consenting the town board as seeker lead agency on their 2 local law amendments?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Any nays or abstentions? Okay, good. All right, so then that letter can go. So then the other referral was for rezone of 532 Salt Point Turnpike. And if you want to come up, that would be probably helpful, because I don't know that anybody else sitting up here knows why that request
Sure.
came in,
Yeah.
or what's going on, so.
Absolutely.
Yeah, where that project stands, I guess, what was did Clinton approve it, or?
This is
No,
different.
this is
different.
This is
This is
532 Salt Point.
Okay.
This is the referral from the town board.
Okay, got
So
For
this
that,
is-
no, we haven't gotten down to that one yet.
This is, it's about 6 acres on Salt Point Turnpike. And so for those who may not know where this parcel is, if you're traveling, I guess you could say north on Salt Point Turnpike, away from Poughkeepsie, and you go past the old rimp feeds, it's almost diagonally across. So it's in that kind of cluster area.
It's right across from
on
the
Salt
exit
Point.
of Cream Street, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Thank you for being more descriptive. That's better. I went to rimp feeds when I was a kid, so I always use that as like a placeholder. So the applicant is petitioning to the town board to rezone this from Greenbelt to Neighborhood District. And along this area, we've done an analysis. We've used like GIS to show different parcels in that area that have currently been rezoned to Neighborhood District, and also parcels that weren't rezoned to Neighborhood District and are being used for commercial purposes, whether legally or not, right? So they're legally non-conforming, they're not legally conforming, or they're, they've been morphed into some sort of quasi-residential commercial use. So we provided this illustration to the town board, and also provided some examples of how we think that rezoning this parcel is consistent with the comp plan. And so after several meetings with the town board agreed, and they referred this action over to the planning board for review. Now, there is a project, the applicant is proposing to use this land, and this application has been submitted to the town board for self-storage. The town board recognizes that ultimately the full application will come before this planning board for review, but this is the initial step, is for this board to consider the rezone. And so, we can provide you with a myriad of information if you'd like us to, if you want to kind of digest everything. We're happy to come to another meeting if you want us to do a presentation, but I just wanted to give you kind of the overall and the history behind, why this is here before you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very helpful,
Yep,
very
you're
helpful. And I'm not sure that we need to know the specifics.
Correct.
Of what's
ultimate
being
project.
proposed.
Yep.
Because when we talk about doing the rezone, it's going to be defined,
Universally, whatever use is
Exactly,
permitted under that
exactly.
code will thereafter be
Yes.
permitted. That's correct.
Yes, and
Yep.
so it's the same points that we were just talking about. It's how does this fit in with the comprehensive
Correct.
plan? How does this fit in with the other uses and
uses,
stuff
yep,
in the
yep.
area? So, I mean, it's very similar.
Yep. And all of that information, so we provided a very significant narrative to the town board, and we went through each of those steps. We also did some comparative analysis of other uses in the district that could be permitted, just to do, a comparison, so it was evident that
Yep,
this does
yep.
fit in. I don't know if that was sent over to you. I'm not sure what materials were given to
No.
the planning board. So we're happy to drop
No,
those.
the local law was sent to us.
Okay.
But again, there was no background, it was,
Well, I think it would be
which,
great.
again, it doesn't,
Well, it helps because we did do a lot of the work that you would now have to do. And so we've already done all of that work. We did a whole
Yes.
analysis. The county was very helpful, and we did GIS
okay,
and so forth.
yeah.
So, we've done a lot of work to illustrate
yep.
why we think that we could support this argument, and so we can get
Send-
copies to.
Send it to Miss Cynthia.
Yeah,
She'll-
we'll go ahead and do
She'll
that.
get that out to us.
So we'll just do a submission. The thing is, it's not a submission to the planning board. This is just a supplemental information for the planning board.
I think there was a link from the town clerk from
We'll make sure,
From that
yeah.
submission that they received. And
Oh, for the local law referral, there was a link?
There was a link in it.
Okay,
But it was buried below, so you
Okay.
had to look
I probably
for
just
it.
completely missed it.
Yeah,
So why don't we make it easy and we'll give you, like we normally do, your own link.
Straight link.
And then we'll bring up paper copies, whoever wants to look through it. It's pretty colorful and illustrated and narrated and so forth. I mean, we really do from like kind of the beginning to the end.
Right, right.
And I think a lot of the work is there, similar to the prior application, like why this fits in, as Victoria had illustrated, with the zoning, the other uses in the area, and in the comp
Right.
plan.
Yeah, and I guess, I've looked at it and, it's just, our neighborhood business districts just always make me laugh because they all just happened very organically. And then they did zoning and then they did a comprehensive plan and they went, oh, well, here's a neighborhood business district, which is why you see house, business,
Right.
house,
Right.
business.
Yep.
It's very patchwork quilt.
Here it is particularly.
Yes,
I
this
think
one is the
it's-
most pronounced one,
It
I
is
think.
very pronounced, yep. And so I think that, maybe sometime in the future, the town focuses a little bit of effort on this area and, kind of creating some consistency. But it certainly isn't inconsistent with what you're seeing over in that area.
Right. So
That's
it's not like
that's our
someone,
job.
right, just so people understand that this hadn't been defined as a neighborhood business district, and then a bunch of people built houses instead.
Yep.
It's just what
And
happened
there's
to
just,
be there.
there's like historical uses there. Again, like, I went to Rimp Feeds, and
Yep.
so that kind of turned into a center for people to go for farming products and food, and so then they're created a deli across the street.
Elsie's.
Yes, so like these things morphed because of one particular use.
Yes, yes.
And if you've lived here and you know the history, this is how these things get started.
Right.
And so now this area is becoming, it's a little kind of hamlet area
Yeah.
for that section of Hyde Park.
Understood, okay. So that would be very helpful, I think.
Yes, so I think similar to the other application, I think the town board is looking for some
Yes.
referral back on seeker, for lead agency for that portion of it, and then also comments on the application. We're happy to come to the next meeting. If it's on the agenda, we'll come in case
Yep,
you have any
yep.
questions, and then we'll get copies.
No, that's great.
Up here for Cynthia, so
Thank
she
you.
can distribute
Thank
to
you
you.
very much, I
You're welcome.
appreciate that.
Thank you for the clarification.
You're welcome.
Yep,
Thank
and we're sending over the lead agency part.
Perfect.
Tomorrow
Yep,
or the
anyway.
next day,
Yep.
yes.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Great, thank
Should
you, have a
Are
great
you
night.
going to
Thank you for
discuss the next
coming.
application? Should I just wait here, or do you need to do a motion
What's that?
It's just lead agency.
for the next?
CEC and
Oh, okay, right. Yeah, that was just going to be a motion, so that'll be our
Very
next
good.
item on there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, if everybody's okay with that, you can send me your comments or,
Yeah, I was going to say, like, do we want to, if we're planning to have a letter sort of drafted for the next meeting, do we want to discuss thoughts about this now? Or do we want to do it as an email to you later on?
if you have thoughts, yes, absolutely. I mean, I know I have a couple of thoughts.
Sure.
They're very my thought is very basic, that if the town does this, they should add in the parcel to the southwest to make it more contiguous.
Sure.
And not so much creating yet another island of neighborhood business districts surrounded by Greenbelt.
Yep.
That was my biggest thought.
Yep.
I
But
agree with you, Ann, I'm in that area a lot, and it's
And
very
residential,
patchy.
and residential is an accepted use
Yeah.
in neighborhood business, so it
Correct.
doesn't impact the neighbor at all.
Yep,
But it would make that map look less patchwork,
correct.
and it would actually then join.
So there's no impact on neighbors, is what you're saying? 'Cause
Yes.
I'm not familiar.
Yeah, which was my first, it's like, uh-oh, does that mean that the house can't be there now? No, it's residential is accepted and wouldn't impact them from oh, I've got to leave now.
Yeah, okay.
It shouldn't make them upset
All right.
to have that happen.
Okay.
I don't, my personal perspective on that is that it's not, I don't think it would be spot zoning to have this little gap because of the overall nature of the neighborhood business district.
'Cause there's
in the
already
town
gaps?
Is a patchwork. Collectively, there is a plan to it. Properties
Okay.
don't necessarily have to be contiguous in order to
Ah.
not be spot zoning. It's my perspective. I wish Victoria was here to argue with me about it. Maybe we don't agree on this, but but my town of Poughkeepsie is a very similar district just to the south, where it's like little
Yes,
spots all
yes.
over because it's supposed to be. It's just, it's the corner deli, often in a
Yep.
residential district. So you get these one-off lots. I do think, we have to recognize that when you rezone something, you rezone it to every use that is allowed in that district.
Right.
And that this spot has traffic safety concerns. I think it's frankly a fine spot for self-storage, which is a very low turnover use.
Yeah.
But if you rezone it to this, you are opening up the possibility to have someone propose something that is more high intensity. Now, it would still need to get through site plan and have a traffic study and.
Sure.
So there are
Yes.
some safeguards.
That- and,
overall,
yeah.
But it's just something to think about with this.
To be honest, it's part of the beauty of zoning, is that there are these breaks that just because you say that there can be this use in any of these areas, doesn't mean that it will always work and that it's going to fit in every single one of those parcels.
Would have to get past
Yes.
NISTOD.
Yes.
on that.
Yeah, still, for many of them, you have to do seeker, you have to look at impacts.
Yep.
Okay. Because I had thought that also, that this is a low-intensity use, what, say, 10, 15 years from now, there's going to be a high-intensity use, and the voice in my head said, they're going to have to do a traffic study, they're going to have to do this, they're going to have to do that, maybe they have to install a light, if it's allowed, it's allowed. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes.
So, again, we'll look to pull something together. I'll need help. But I think this one is a little more straightforward. This one we have to really focus on the memory use one, how that best fits into the overall puzzle. But interesting point, Dylan, about not necessarily needing.
I don't know that you need to rezone the neighboring parcel if you don't want to. I don't think you'd be spot zoning by doing that, but, yeah, you feel right.
It feels a little uncomfortable to have it sitting out there by itself.
Okay.
And, generally, you would have them contiguous. That doesn't mean that it doesn't make sense. But in this instance, it's easy because single families are allowed in the zone. So to include that other parcel is not affecting them. And frankly, in the future, that house could convert to another deli or to something else. And that would be okay too.
Okay.
It's a small parcel, if it's a small commercial use someday, I don't think that would be a concern.
Doesn't change their taxes.
No,
Yeah.
right,
Right.
right. So consider that when you send me your comments, is which way
Yeah,
you
They're
think
gonna get-
value of the house, of the
Yeah.
we might
property.
recommend.
And he does care, and he has called me.
Are there any other points that we should consider for this? I mean, to me, that was the big one.
I think it's straightforward.
As far as comprehensive plan, I mean, it talks about, well, you're going to send us some information, but it does talk about the nature of our neighborhood business districts and how long-term we would like to see them continue to
Right.
grow organically. So,
Yeah, and in the plan, it shows it, I always call them the blobby areas,
Yeah.
but, a blobby area around that intersection from which, you
Yep.
could grow an area that, as you said, serves that portion of the town.
yes, yes.
That might be closer than having to go elsewhere.
Right. And for all of you up here, if you're looking at that and you say, but there's already a commercial use across the street on Cream Street, right near the exit there, where it connects. So that's the old firehouse for that area. And they are commercial because they received a use variance. And I forget why they had to have a use variance.
Is this Hughes?
Because Mr. Haas wanted
Haas.
to use the property that way.
And we weren't rezoning it. And it wasn't going to be rezoned.
It was the firehouse, and they were trying.
Oh, microphone, please.
She's not sure she wants to go on the record.
No, I know. It's historic.
It was the firehouse, and they were trying to figure out something to be able to do with the structure.
Yep.
And the fire department wanted to sell it.
And they had an offer from a
They had an
landscaper, right?
offer, so that's how we ended up with what we have, and,
Okay. I wasn't quite sure why we didn't think rezoning that would be, anyway, that's going way back.
Because, business doesn't fit in the rural greenbelt area.
Certain ones do, certain ones do, thank you.
He chose the use variance, right?
Yes, yes, so when you look at that and you see that it's not purple, it's green, it's because it has a use variance.
Okay.
And it was the second one, I think, in ever.
Forever.
Yes, so they're very hard to get.
The other thing is that there is a floodplain that runs through there, so it was highly unlikely that it could be developed.
For anything else, yeah.
And there's a setback from the stream, and so
Yeah.
there were other restrictions on the property that they didn't think rezoning was the right thing to do.
Right. Whereas this one, it would appear that perhaps a rezone helps make that possible.
And then, remember, even though it's in the green belt, the solar's right across the street, too.
Correct.
So.
Correct.
You know, you have quite a few non-residential uses, even if they're in the
Yes.
green belt.
And then right next to the solar is neighborhood business district, which is not being utilized at this point yet with any commercial that I know of, right? The one behind Gleason's and, yeah. So it's a mishmash, it's a patchwork quilt. Thank you, this has been very helpful. Does anybody have any questions, though, on any of these?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, great. Thank you for your forbearance with that. So the next item on the agenda is consider consenting to Town of Clinton as lead agency for CEC NY 6 Senses. They are just asking that they be the lead agency. So may I get a motion? I don't really know anything about this project, so, but I do know there's a little parcel that's in Hyde Park, and so.
Is there something sent to us to review?
No.
I don't know that Kelly's here for it, but she could explain what it is.
Bonnie, isn't the Hyde Park piece like where the
Was that in
bridge is?
relation to the
It's
lead
where they
agency?
have, it provides the frontage onto the road
That's what I thought.
where a bridge is proposed to get access into Six Senses. Kelly's firm is representing the applicant, so if you have some questions,
Oh,
she could help
okay.
you. If you just want to know about the project.
That's why I had.
I'm so overwhelmed with
That's why I raised
everything
that.
else, I don't even look
You're
beyond the
all
Hyde
right.
Park border.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you are correct. This is a project that, sorry, Kelly Leibolt with KRC Planning. So this is a project that is situated in both the town of Clinton and the town of Hyde Park. It's a very unique parcel in that the sole access to the town of Clinton piece is through the town of Hyde Park and over a stream. So the stream is predominantly the barrier, the property line between Hyde Park and Clinton. And so this application has been under review by the Town of Clinton Planning Board for some time. And the town board for the town of Hyde Park was not included on the application originally for lead agency review. And the planning board is actually now going to review a portion of the plan, a limited portion of the project. I know Tad has the application. I'm not sure when it's going to get released to the planning board. But we've submitted the application for the
Okay.
planning board to review, so you will see it soon. We'll be back shortly.
Okay, so this is helping to make this administratively correct on both
It's
sides?
paperwork catching up.
It's
Yes,
paper-
correct.
it's
Yep, yep, yep.
literally
Yeah.
paperwork.
And so the board, when we come before you, I think your review is limited to, there's a new bridge, and you had correctly said, there's an existing driveway with an existing access to this conference center use. It's been there for decades.
Yes.
The Town of Clinton Planning Board is requiring a second bridge crossing for emergency vehicles and a redundancy, you know, if there was something that happened to
Emergency
them.
only, that.
Emergency
right,
only.
That's correct.
Yep,
Okay,
that's
yeah,
correct.
Oh, okay,
I
so-
just want to make sure I had the
You are correct.
verbiage correct.
Yep,
And
yep.
then there was no other additional structures to be put on
No
the
structures.
Hyde Park.
Yep, yep. So it's really, it's kind of an unusual review where the planning board is going to review a bridge and a driveway across
From
a
our
piece of
perspective,
property.
it's a bridge to nowhere.
It is. Yes, that's a good, I love that you had said that because that's actually very accurate. It's a bridge to nowhere for you. You know, there's other agencies that are involved, so the DOT is reviewing and has
Right.
reviewed and given us conceptual approval of the driveway entrance. So where that new driveway for emergency purposes only is located on 9G, the DOT has already reviewed and conceptually approved.
Okay.
So we're moving forward with that. New York State DEC will review the bridge crossing to the extent that it involves permits that involve DEC. So whenever you're crossing water, there's water quality permits.
Right.
DEC changed the regulations for the wetlands, so we're in the buffer now. So there's other agencies that are involved in your portion of your review, mainly DEC and DOT. Interestingly enough, the same consultants that represent the town of Hyde Park represent the town of Clinton. So fortunately, Mr. Renia, Bonnie, the attorney is, she's not involved in this particular project, but so the two consultants are, and Brendan Fitzgerald, who is your traffic consultant. So those three consultants are the same consultants in the town of Clinton. So
Okay.
it'll be easy for them to get up to speed to give you
Okay.
advice and recommendations on
To
this portion of the
consult us.
project. Correct. So whenever I think Tad releases the application to the planning board,
Okay.
then we'll be back before you.
Thank you for tying those pieces together.
You're welcome.
Thank you because when I read that letter earlier tonight, I was like, I did not understand. Now that the dots are getting connected.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else have questions, or you're good?
Thank you.
Okay, you're
Okay.
welcome.
Thank you.
So then, can I get a motion consenting the Clinton Town Board as seeker lead agency for the CEC NY Six Senses review?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays or abstentions? Motion carries. There you go. And may I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you again, Kelly, for coming out, and Amy, too. Nice to see you.
Yes.
Thank you to the
Thank you.
consultants.
You too, good evening.
And oh, by the way, Channel 22 is no more. We're on Channel 1313.
I just watched this on YouTube.
Okay. Actually, if you have
Mockingbird
Optimum,
Lane.
it used to
Bye,
be
Chris.
Channel 22.
Good night.